We are back.
Howdy.
Where is my cursor? There it is. Spooky background, let's go. How do I get it anywhere? Okay, this is probably easier with the mouse. I'm just gonna start clicking around. Alright. Lube bottle, let's go. That's music.
Oh, is it like an Easter egg? You have to like find it?
Got to click on that lake. There are only a few photos here. That was one of the CGs.
Yeah.
Jenna only had 3. Oh, this. Is it this?
No, those are just the pictures for... Oh,
here it is. Okay, so let's see. So today we're gonna, or whenever, in this set, we're gonna be doing phone, runaway, date, and lights. Oh, phone, I know what this is about. Given what just happened in Jenna's, with Leo and everything.
Yes. The background.
May 2012. I don't know. I don't even know how these are formatted. Hey, visuals. I wasn't even sure if they'd be that, or if it'd be like the text parts of near, or it's just like a feed, just like you're just reading someone's
like a diary entry or something.
Well, I thought it might just be like a text document and you scroll through or something.
I feel like this building could only be a fast food restaurant. Like there is not another option for what this building could be.
Yeah, this is extremely like In and Out or something looking.
I mean, I wish that more buildings were just weird like this. Like,
yeah.
like this could be a tax office. Like that'd be fun. You know?
Make it completely illegible to be able to tell what businesses are at a glance. Just have to check every time.
It's like how a Pizza Hut looks like a Pizza Hut forever. There's no escaping the shape of the Pizza Hut.
I pull up to the old fast food joint in my shitty old truck, the fan blasting hot desert air. I look around the sun-baked parking lot, but I don't see Chase's car yet.
Oh, who is this? Oh, this is me. Is this Jenna?
Maybe. Is it Jenna or is it Leo?
Get my phone. Here. I'll just taking out my phone. I check the time and scan through my messages. He told me he got out for lunch 15 minutes ago, but it's 20 minutes later now. There's a little pang of worry, mostly because I know how shitty a driver Chase is, but he's usually late, so I quash that. I give my pits a quick check.
I give my pits a quick check.
Yes.
Driving around with a broken AC is fucking torture in this weather. But the antiperspirant seems to be holding up alright.
See, and then also there's a truck. I forgot about... He says
Yeah.
truck, so that's probably Leo.
After giving them a quick sniff, I recline and put my paws behind my head to air out and maybe catch a quick nap.
I mean, I check my pits too, but, you know.
But immediately like, is this Leo?
It seems like a Leo thing to do.
Sure, it's a pain in the ass having to come down here when I'm this tired. Dad's working me to the goddamn bone, and the restaurant is on the other side of Peyton. But seeing Chase makes it worth it. It isn't often that we get to have lunch together. The lunch hour, being as short as it is, only gives us about 20 minutes to really talk. I'm starting to doze off when I hear a knock on my window. I give a little start and open my eyes, squinting against the desert sun reflecting off of a car bumper in the front of me.
Oh,
Chase Sprite.
We never see a Chase
This
Sprite.
never shows up.
He has no goatee.
Oh yeah, he doesn't currently have a goatee. He's not real.
It's the shadow. It's the shadow Chase. It's the tulpa.
Looking to my left, Chase's adorable otter face greets me through the window, grinning. All of the bad mood I had earlier evaporates away, as if it were underwater. As if it were water under this fucking sun, and Chase steps back as soon as I open the door. Hey, babe. I step out and pull him into a hug. Oh, that was it. Oh, that was... No. I switched voices instinctively when that was Leo. Hey, babe. Hey. He says it against my chest, rubbing his nose in it like he always does while I run my paws around his back. Man, that swim team is really slimming you down. I pinch his sides appreciatively. He wiggles under my fingers and returns the favor to my own waist. And you're getting squishy. Hey! I pretend to be offensive, giving a mock growl, letting it vibrate from my chest into his nose. Wouldn't that be the way, if you didn't keep picking fat factories like this? Or wouldn't be that way. No more football doesn't help either. I like it. I'm actually really proud of him right now. He used to be so worried about people seeing us like this, but now he's hugging me like there's no one around. I decide to go a bit further, and give him a quick lick on one of those stubby, cute ears, and he gives a little shiver and laughs. Stop! Let's go inside. It's too hot out here. As he turns away from me, he lets this thick tail push up against my crotch, shoving my junk up against my body. It actually hurts more than it feels good. He really doesn't know how strong that thing is, but it gets me going anyway.
Just thwacked with the tail. Right in the dick.
Hot.
I appreciate the sentiment.
After we put it in our orders and get our drinks, we both stare down at a greasy table, Chase swiping an old fry off his booth.
I appreciate they put the little hum in the background that like all these restaurants tend to have.
You know, I would go to a different restaurant if we had time and I had money. It's fine, as long as we're not doing it every day. I stretch back, purposefully puffing my chest out so my already tight-fit shirt hugs my body even tighter. It's not lost on Chase as he gazes at the chest ruff poking out through my shirt, and I'm satisfied as I see a longing look come across his face. That's not fair, Leo. I've got another 3 hours of school. Just showing you what's waiting for you at home. He rolls his eyes before pulling out his phone. Hey, no texting. Let's talk. What do you want to talk about? He doesn't put it away. Well, I toy with the straw in my cup. Is now a good time to bring it up? I always get annoyed when I see people making a scene in restaurants. Like it's the perfect place to tell someone it's over, or that they're gay. But
Sorry, I read that as it's like the perfect time to tell somebody that it's over or that they are gay. It's like
You're gay.
I'll take you to your restaurant and be like, Keith, you're gay. Don't freak out. We're in a restaurant.
Don't freak out.
We're in a restaurant, okay? But you're gay.
But Chase seems to be in a good mood. It's probably as good a time as any. Have you decided what you're gonna do after school? Chase finally puts his phone down on the table and closes his eyes, sighing, and that makes me nervous. Don't worry about it right now, Leo. I've still got a few months to decide. Fuck. How can he not worry when how could he not worry when all that's gonna do is make me worry? And the way he says it sounds like he's already made a decision. I open my muzzle again, but he stands up, straightening his tight shirt as he does. Go into the bathroom. I'll be right back. I grunt, and he heads off towards the back of the restaurant while I slump in my seat. The idea of Chase leaving is fucking terrifying.
Well,
we've been this way for the past 2.5 years, and the way he's treating this decision like it's just a fucking annoyance makes me all the more frustrated. I feel like this relationship has only really come into its own over the past year. Mostly because Chase turned 18, we don't have to worry about that stupid shit anymore. His phone buzzes a few times, and I look at it out of habit. Then it really starts buzzing, and I realize someone's calling him.
Incoming call.
Jared.
Hey, baby, you want a foot long?
No, it's just more of the extended fucking lore.
Jared.
Because Jared was the name you gave me out of spite.
Oh, you're right! Yes, you're right.
Incoming call, Jared.
Fuck, yeah, Keith and Jared are in this fucking game.
Yeah.
Is Jared a tulpa of Keith?
A face that I don't recognize pops up on the screen. It's a wolf of some kind. A grey wolf, I think. And he's ridiculously handsome. Model handsome, actually. I furrow my brows, then look back behind me at the bathroom, but Chase isn't there. Fuck it. I could just say I was picking it up for him anyway.
Who does that?
Yeah, that's not a thing with cell phones. I grabbed the phone and stabbed the green pickup symbol before holding it up to my ear. Since Chase has the stubby muzzle thing going for him, his phone doesn't pull out like mine. So I have to try and direct my voice out the side of my mouth.
Oh, that's an interesting thought, that you'd have to have a phone extender for people with long muzzles, because how else would you answer the phone?
How confusingly these work on people's faces. Who is this? I cursed silently as I realized that if I wanted the guy to talk, that probably wasn't the best way to do it. And sure enough, I hear a click as he hangs up.
Yeah, what you do is you just say quiet, and you just answer the phone, and you just wait to see if they say anything, like hello?
There's also a bit of this somewhat justifies, probably not, because this is a prank that's being played on him, but it's a little bit like, oh, okay, Chase snooping on Leo's shit, like there's precedent for Leo snooping on Chase's shit. Like he answered his phone, but also who leaves phones behind? Like this is so set up.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I was like going to the bathroom at a restaurant, I might very much leave my phone on the table if I was comfortable with who I was with, you know?
Well, you don't always have pockets.
Yeah, I usually don't have pockets.
Yeah.
I usually have a purse. I have to leave my whole purse there. So it's like, watch my purse.
Like, Chase's pants aren't that tight. I feel my heart beating fast as I pull the phone down from my ear. I stare at the screen for a while and barely realize it goes black. There's no way he'd do this, would he? I slide my finger around the blank screen for a while, then turn it back on as I navigate to the texts. Sure enough, there's a thread under the name Jared with over 1,000 texts.
Wow, they really committed to that prank, then.
AI is AI programmed texts, or he literally just they didn't commit to this really, because they
could have changed Jenna's name.
He just renamed Jenna to Jared and changed her picture, and then they had like some conversation recently to
make it look real. Up. Yeah.
Also, Chase's phone isn't locked.
No, it might be locked. A lot of people give their phone codes to their significant others.
But Leo didn't put it in.
It doesn't say that he put it in.
He just used the phone.
But there's a lot of times where it's like, oh, you're in the car with someone, and it's like, oh, I'm putting on Spotify. Like, I'm put on a song, and you're like, oh yeah, my code's this. You just tell them casually, not expecting them to later look through your phone or something. I feel like it's very common that people just know each other's phone passwords. How a kid would know their mom's phone password because they want to play games.
Do you have games on your phone? My throat's dry as I tap on it and look at the most recent messages.
Hey
11:52.
Boy, where are you at? I miss you. Calling now, heart.
Hey. I whip my head up to see Chase staring down at me, an exasperated grin on his muzzle. I almost lower my ears in shame at being caught, but I catch myself before I do. He's the one who has some explaining to do. Who the fuck is this? I shove the phone in his face, realizing that I've lost my chance at approaching this delicately. Because famously Leo ever does that. I also notice a few heads turning our way, and that I've suddenly become the guy I didn't want to be. Chase takes his phone and quickly sits down, his eyes wide as he makes a shushing shape with his mouth. That only pisses me off more, but at the same time I feel something really sharp and painful at my chest. Is this really happening? So you are leaving? Running off to fuck some other wolf? Now people are really staring, and Chase winces as he ducks his head lower to the table. It's a joke, Leo. Calm down. A joke? I don't understand what that means exactly, but I'm starting to. I don't say anything, so Chase keeps going. Jenna, we were just trying to have some fun. I was starting to realize this probably wasn't the best time, but... Jenna. That explains it. But the anger and betrayal I'm feeling doesn't go away like it should. Now I'm livid. So you're just playing this stupid game of keeping me guessing whether or not you're gonna ditch me next year? And then you pulled this shit? I raise my voice for the last part, and there's a noticeable lull in the conversation around us. A few people glance at us, then look away, but I can tell all their ears are pointing in our direction. Outside, Leo. He says it like he's talking to a toddler, then stands up and goes straight for the door. Again, I'm pissed off even more, the way he's treating me like a little kid. I deserve it, I know, but I can't help it. I follow him out into the hot air, again, trying to ignore the heads turning as I walk by. The hell is wrong with you? He whirls on me. I'm shocked. He looks almost as angry as I am. Me? You know, I told Jenna there was no way in hell you'd fall for this since you already knew how I felt about you. I'm the one that should be fucking offended that you'd think that. That's not fair. You wanted a reaction from me and you got one. Happy? I fold my arms and glare at him. Chase folds his arms too, slumps against the wall, looking away from me. He's sad, and that fucking hurts. I was looking forward to this all day and he probably was too. It's almost enough to make me take everything back. Almost. Then Jenna shows up, her light blonde fur almost making her hard to look at as she lights up under the sun. She comes running over from the parking lot to hop onto the sidewalk, standing next to Chase. That face is not a
no! This is not helping!
I should have known how strange it was that Chase would park so far away from me. She'd been sitting in there the whole time, probably watching us from the windows.
What's wrong, Leo?
The glee in her voice brings it all back, and I realize who I'm really mad at. She probably pushed him into the whole thing. This was your idea? I reach out and grab the phone from Chase's paw and hold it out to her. She's still grinning, though the initial happiness morphs into a more condescending look that makes me grit my teeth.
It's a prank, Leo.
Making me think I just lost my otter is a prank? If this is a fucking joke, then you need to learn how to make one first.
Why don't you learn how to take one?
How was I supposed to take that? Just laugh and shrug and say, well, fuck, so much for that. Is that what you expected? I throw my arms out in a big, exasperated shrug. Jenna frowns and lowers her ears.
Actually, we just thought you wouldn't fall for it. At least, not this hard. I mean, come on, I cropped that from the cover of some teen magazine. It was my number 2, if you didn't notice.
She continues to frown at me. Chase is still looking away from us, and I feel like the big asshole that's ruined everyone's fun. It just wasn't a good time, alright?
No?
No. Why the fuck is she doing this right now? I just wanted to talk to Chase, alone. I look back into the restaurant, and a server behind the counter is looking at us, a tray of food in her paws. Some of the patrons are staring too, like I give a fuck. What the hell are you doing here anyway?
Semester ended last week.
So you're staying at home for the summer? I give her a confused look.
Of course not. I'm staying with Emily.
I take a deep breath and close my eyes. I'd honestly be happy to hear Jenna was going to be around for summer if she hadn't introduced herself in such a fucked up way. I hear her give a heavy sigh, and I open my eyes to see her rubbing her head, like I'm just the biggest disappointment.
You need to calm down, Leo. How can we ever have fun if you're exploding all the time?
I grit my teeth again, and I have to work not to snarl. Telling me to calm down is the worst thing you can do right now.
Yeah, Jenna, you psychologist person with your brain neurology. Like, obviously, telling someone to calm down is always the worst thing you can do.
I'm tired, I'm hot, and I just wanted to have lunch with Chase. I glance at the phone and see it's already 20 past the hour, which means Chase has to leave now. I squeeze the phone hard in my paw, but Jenna doesn't seem to notice.
You're overreacting.
I feel something snap inside, and Rather than chuck the phone in Jenna's direction, I spin and start to throw it down on the sidewalk. I realize, at the last second, that it's Chase's phone that I'm throwing, and I try to grab it back up at the same time I throw it. I only succeed in clipping a corner, which sends it into a flip before it hits the concrete. The crunching sound, along with the sparkling spray of glass, tells me that I just smashed the phone to hell. I wince and flatten my ears. I stare at the little black square for a while, feeling both of their eyes on the back of my head. Fuck.
Que mierda fue eso?
Que mierda fue eso? We'll just go in one try and move on. I curse myself, though I've said it enough times before that I know Chase recognizes the phrase. Slowly, I turn around, my face flushing as I try to meet eyes with him. Otter, I'm sorry, I'll buy you. I'm going to Pueblo, Leo. He's looking at me now, and his hazel eyes feel like they're piercing right through me. I stare at him for a second, as if I didn't understand, but I feel my stomach sink even as I speak. What? He's sucking in his cheeks to stop himself from frowning, the way he does when he's trying not to cry. Jenna's silent, looking away, but my gut tells me she already knew this, and that starts to bring back some of the anger. What the hell are you talking about? I said I'm going to Pueblo in August. I got accepted in January. I don't know what to say. I feel like I've been punched in the stomach and I can't get my air back to make words. I say all I can manage. Chase. He turns away from me.
I gotta go back. I'm already gonna be late.
Jenna looks over at me and I finally see some remorse in her face before she jogs to catch up with Chase. I hear her start to apologize. I watch him go, desperately wanting to run up and pull him into my arms and tell him I'm sorry, but I know that'll probably make things worse. He likes to be left alone when he's pissed like this, but after dropping that bomb I want to talk to him right now. No. We'll figure this out. They're echoing the line that you say if you to get the bad ending in Leo's route.
Yeah.
I'll just talk to him once school lets out. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Just a few more hours. I watch them pull out of the parking lot, and I wish he'd look at me as they drive past, but he doesn't. Neither does Jenna. I hesitate, then pick up Chase's phone, because he's gonna need to recover some shit from it when I buy him a new one. Then hop in my truck. I sit there for a second, not sure what to do. I feel sick and angry, and tired all at the same time. All of this is my fault. Ah, startling. I punch the steering wheel. And that feels good, so I do it again, but then I realize people are still staring at me through the windows. I flip them off before I put the truck in gear. Is this why Chase is leaving me? Because I can't control my fucking temper sometimes? No, not leaving me, just working things out. As I'm driving down the road, the churning feeling in my gut finally gets to me, and I pull my phone out, look up now and then to correct my steering. I type what I hope is a heartfelt apology. In the middle of it, I remember that his phone is sitting in my cup holder, fucking broken.
I was gonna say.
I finally let out a snarl I've been holding back and throw my phone into the passenger seat, accidentally swerving and setting off a few honks. I grip the steering wheel with both paws, blinking furiously as the road starts to blur. No, I'm not gonna cry. This'll work out fine. We'll just need to talk, like we always do, and even if he does leave, we'll work something out. I'm not gonna fuck this up.
Oh no.
I'm not gonna lose my temper, ever again.
Yeah, that works out great.
I'm not going to lose him.
That works out great too.
I mean, the temper's definitely one of the flags.
Yeah, poor Leo. I do feel kind of bad.
No, it's rough. Everyone had a really rough time, just in general, leading up to all this. But also, they're so bad for each other.
Yeah.
They do need to just move on.
They are really bad for each other. But honestly, like, if I was in a relationship and somebody pulled, like, a prank like that, I'd be fucking pissed.
Yeah.
I'd probably react similarly. I wouldn't throw anyone's phone, but I'd be real mad.
This is so...
It's not funny.
Yeah, fuck it. It's so annoying to do with the controller. Next up is Runaway.
She's a little runaway.
We also know what runaway means.
Micah?
Jenna.
Oh yeah.
Micah also was a runaway, I guess, but Jenna's the
I was gonna
main character.
I was gonna say, why is Micah in this?
Yeah, looking at the other ones are less obvious. Date, lights, party, trip, metaphor. I got you a metaphor. and benefits.
And party might be that party where we met Leo, or not met Leo, but we had our first like date with Leo, or we're dating. You know, the party.
Where we got knocked out.
Yeah,
it's probably not a short story because it's already Route 65.
Well, I know, but maybe maybe TJ has a spin-off story or something.
But it's much harder to tell what the other ones are, but Phone and Runaway are like so heavily telegraphed by what we know so far. May 2010. I'm guessing this is Jenna's perspective too. Yep, that's her bedroom.
The sun has begun to set. If I want to avoid Dad and Jeremy, I'll have to leave soon. I take another look around my room just to make sure I haven't missed anything. With my bookshelf empty and all the clothes packed away, it feels a little bleak, gloomy. If not for the posters still hanging on the walls, you'd be forgiven for thinking no one had lived here at all. It reminds me of one of those TV shows where they explore abandoned, haunted buildings. And while this place isn't particularly haunted, at least as far as I know, plenty of terrifying things have happened here. Part of the reason I want nothing to do more than to leave it all behind me. I zip up the duffel bag, not particularly easy with my paws trembling so much, and I take my phone out of my purse, reading Chase's messages again. He says he'll be waiting at the diner. When I ask if Leo will be coming along, he replies with an emoticon shaking its head. Figures. I hoist the duffel bag over my shoulder and waddle towards the door, snagging my necklace, the one Jeremy gave me, off the nightstand along the way. She's always wearing a necklace, huh? Maybe it's that one?
Probably.
I put my ear to the door and listen for any signs of my family before even thinking of opening it. Usually I can tell when they're home by the shouting and screaming of Dad and Jeremy's daily arguments, but I want to be sure. Once I'm sure the coast is absolutely clear, I open the door and start walking. First, out of my stuffy room, then out of the hallway, then out of the house. I lock the door and put the key under the doormat, looking over my shoulder at the house, where I've spent the past 17 years of my life. It's just a house to me, not a home. Hell, school feels more like a home than this place does. I expected to feel regret setting in about now, but I can only grin like an idiot. Simply walking out of that door feels like an achievement. I don't think I've ever felt this kind of rush before. I'm free. I'm not going to become another Janice, working a mindless, soul-sucking job while sighing to everyone who'll hear.
Damn, shots fired at Janice.
Yeah, fucking
you don't know what she went through.
I know, poor Jan. Well, she saw an old man get crushed into the wheel well of a car. Not listen, because people in Echo never listen about what could and should have been. I'm going to college on the other side of the state, far away from this dusty, dried-up shithole. I'm aware of the consequences, of the potential problems that could await me, yet the pros far outweigh the cons. I run a finger over the gemstone in the necklace and feel a pang of guilt in my stomach. Jeremy will have to deal with Mom and Dad all on his own now. And while he certainly hasn't made my life any easier, he doesn't deserve that. Nobody does. If it hadn't been for Clint, he might have turned out all right. But I've made up my mind. And so I head towards the diner, struggling to keep myself upright, duffel bag in one paw, my purse in the other. And while people walking around with shifty-looking bags at night is an uncommon sight in Echo, I stick to the shadows regardless. I try to resist the urge to look over my shoulder every 3 steps. Jeremy could be hiding in every shadow. Or so my mind tells me. I feel like a child again. I really shouldn't have packed this much. These bags are way too heavy. After nearly tripping over several rocks, I can finally breathe a sigh of relief when the familiar lights of the diner come into view. On the other side of the road stands the motel, a lone car parked in its parking lot. Even as a dot in the distance, I recognize it instantly. It's Chase's parents' car. I walk over as fast as I can on these heels.
You ran away in heels?
Like, heel? Like, on these heels? She's talking about the heels of her feet? Or, like, is she wearing heels? 'Cause that's fucking stupid.
Wait. I've heard McSkinny specifically say, Howley wouldn't let me put them in shoes.
Well,
So
in
shoes
all
aren't supposed
in
to
all their
be-
screenshots, they're barefoot.
Yeah, so it's supposed to be a rule that there's no shoes in this universe. So I don't know exactly what that means, honestly.
I think she's talking about, like, walking fast on the ball, like, the heels of her foot. I don't know. I think she's talking about her natural heels. Chase is leaning against his car, his face illuminated by the light of his phone.
It's a trip to get this far and now have perspectives outside of Chase where you see Chase.
It is weird. He's pretty cute.
Oh no.
Without the goatee.
Chase is your type. Skinny nerd that can't stand up correctly. It just falls over all the time.
I mean, that's exactly my type. I like when people fall a
Yeah,
lot. It makes me feel like I can prey upon them.
Yeah, your type is the wacky, wavy, inflatable arm tube man.
Yeah, kind of, sort of, honestly. I like tall, really lanky people. And I like punks.
Well, he had the emo hair before. We've been over that. He had the spiked hair and everything.
Yeah, no, I mean, honestly, Chase just has a cute expression. I don't think he's kind of a normie in terms of everything else about him. His outfit and everything.
He almost wears the same shirt as Leo.
Aw, cute. They match.
Once he notices me Nope.
Oh yeah, sorry. Once he noticed me walking towards him, he slides it into his pocket. With his paw still in his pockets, he walks to the edge of the parking lot. The motel's parking lot is quiet and dark, but not unpleasant. It's cooled down considerably, not quite to the point where I'd be worried about catching a cold, but cool enough to not get heat stroke after taking 10 steps.
Let me handle this.
He hunches over with a grunt as he lifts my duffel bag from my paws.
Shit, Jazz. Did you fill this thing with bricks?
I giggle at the sight of him, folding my arms. Just the necessities, really. Clothes, a toothbrush, something to read.
Chase is so weak. She just carried it all here. It's
I
fine,
know!
With zero commenting on its weight.
What a punk. What a little bitch boy. He grins.
All your manga, too?
Manga?
Manga?
He would say manga. Most of it. Just the issues I haven't gotten around to reading yet.
That's most of it?
Dude, I read them instantly and then, like, throw them in the pile.
She thinks about pranks too often.
Maybe I should have filled it with bricks. It would have made for a nice prank. Yeah, see, I don't trust that bitch. Once we get seated, my duffel bag is in the trunk and my purse between my legs on the floor. I look out the window to the road I took to get here. I catch Chase's eye.
Ready to go?
He puts a paw on my shoulder. It's warm, and his paw pads are a little damp with sweat, but it's the most comforting thing I've felt all day. I melt to the touch, just a little. I nod. As ready as I'll ever be. I lean forward to turn on the radio. One of Chase and Leo's songs, or as Flynn likes to call them, emo garbage with shitty lyrics, starts playing. That's my favorite song, emo garbage with shitty lyrics. Probably explains why the car reeks of Leo's cologne. While I don't particularly like the music, it's still miles better than the country music that usually plagues the local radio stations, so I leave it on. Chase wraps his fingers on the steering wheel in time with the beat. When he notices I'm looking, he quickly averts his gaze, messing with the rearview mirror instead. I chuckle. He's cute. A different brand of cute than TJ, but cute. Like, TJ's cute like a toddler, like... Where is the wolf boy anyway? Out with the pack?
His parents needed him at the shop. He said it was urgent.
I thought his parents' place closed at 6. He shrugs.
They call him at the weirdest times. I've gotten used to it.
No, okay. Still, he glances at his anchor bracelet, eventually straightening it out so the tiny anchor rests on top of his wrist.
He's still wearing it.
Oh, we've got to look at his wrist to see if he had it on in his little...
Oh, yeah.
It's a habit of his I've noticed ever since they went out to buy those things. You guys okay? He sighs.
We've been better. I feel like we've got different ideas about our future. Where we're going to take this thing we have, once we're done with school.
I had a hunch. Well, less of a hunch and more noticing they weren't eating each other's faces last time I saw them. Do you want to talk about it?
It's no big deal. We'll work it out eventually.
It sure sounds like a big deal to me. Have you mentioned it to him? He tilts his head back.
It's not just something you can bring up out of the blue, Jazz.
If it's bothering you, you should do something about it. It'll just get worse if you don't.
I'll ask him about it when I see him.
He says it with a tone of finality. The anchor drops from the top of his wrist again. We're on the road now, moving further and further away from the diner and the motel until they're just blots in the distance. If there's one good thing about Echo, I suppose it's the spectacular sunsets. It reminds me of all the evenings I spent at TJ's house, sitting in the backyard with his family, just to watch the sun slowly sink. Sometimes his mother would pull out a photo album and tell me all about where they came from, what nature there was like. Chase looks at me from the corner of his eye.
We can stop, if you'd like. If you want to say goodbye.
I'm fine. My response is a little snippier than I would have liked. I make the effort to soften my voice. You can keep driving, Chase.
Alright. I'll have to stop for gas when we get to Peyton, though. I promised my mom I'd fill up the tank.
I don't mind. I reach into my purse and grab my wallet, but he raises his paw.
I'll pay. Don't worry about it.
Are you sure? I mean, you're going all the way out there for me. He smiles.
Seriously, don't sweat it.
It's hard to do given the gravity of the situation, but it's a smile I gladly return. Thanks, Chase.
It's what friends are for, right?
I take my phone out of my purse. Dad's calling. He probably got home and noticed I wasn't there. The fur on the back of my neck prickles as I look at the screen. I'm tempted to pick up. The song playing on the radio has stopped registering. All I can hear is buzzing. Finally, I shake my head and hit the ignore call button, thrusting the phone back into my purse, taking out a manga instead. I'm not listening to anything he has to say anymore.
What was that about?
Dad called.
You haven't been gone that long.
He stops wrapping his fingers on the steering wheel and eyes me nervously. It reminds me of TJ a little, the way his fur bristles whenever something catches the lynx off guard.
You think he knows?
I flip through my manga, taking out my bookmark. I don't know, and I don't really care. I start reading. In a town as dull as Echo, manga and anime have always filled the void pretty nicely. They've been an escape for me, a gateway to cultures and countries beyond this nothing town, places where I don't have to deal with my family. Strangely enough, I never got into Western comics much. There's some good ones. I don't like superhero comics, but there's some good Western ones.
It's all about the indie comics.
The indie, yep, that's where it's at. Jenna, hit me up. We'll talk about comics.
I'll fix you.
Just don't say things to me that will hurt my feelings like you say to everybody else.
Stop talking.
Yeah. Carl got me one of those collector's edition comics for my birthday once, but I sort of gave up on it when I hadn't finished it after a year. Mental note to get back to that one soon. The gas station between Echo and Peyton is a perfect representation of the miserable state Echo is in.
I think it started looping strangely because that's like longer than the opening theme is actually supposed to loop for.
That makes sense. It's old and decrepit, to say the least, and what little staff it has consists mostly of junkies saving up for their next fix. Usually they get it from the dealers that show up at night around here. If the gas station wasn't the cheapest around, I doubt I'd see any customers at all. Most people already try to avoid it whenever they can.
This place gives me the creeps. Looks like it came straight out of a horror movie.
It does. I smirk at him. Do you think there's any spiders around? He turns to me, an interesting mixture of fear and frustration etched on his face as his muzzle opens, only to close again, like a fish trying to get some air.
Don't even joke about that.
There's probably some really big ones. I walk my fingers up his arm to the back of his neck, then pinch him. Boo!
Jasmine.
He swats my paw away with a yelp.
Stop it.
I laugh. But yeah, her name's Jasmine. I just realized she's still Jasmine.
Yeah. Because she changed her name after she ran away, seemingly.
Yeah, for some reason it didn't occur to me. I swear, TJ keeps it together better than you sometimes. He snorts.
Only because you go easy on him.
He's not wrong. The one time I played a Chase caliber prank on TJ, he spent hours crying in his room afterwards. She's all about those fucking pranks, dude.
Jesus.
I do not like people like that.
No.
It was the only time I'd ever seen his mother legitimately angry, a stark contrast to her usual sunny disposition.
Oh no, and you're probably usually her favorite.
I know, you made his mom mad. Oh no.
Poor TJ.
Not much scares me, but that was a frightening experience. Hey, he's been through a lot already. I don't want to scar him for life. He raises a brow.
But I'm fair game?
Well, I get the best reactions out of you. He sighs.
Foxes.
I always feel a little guilty about playing into Chase's arachnophobia, or Chase's little spider problem, as his mom calls it.
No! It's mortifying.
Oh, you little spider problem.
Chase's little spider problem.
Chase, stay out of my room. I got lots of tarantulas in there.
Got a spider problem. Mom!
Mom! But they're so fuzzy-wuzzy and cute.
No.
But he's just so damn fun to tease. My greatest moment has to be when we emptied an entire bag of those tiny rubber spiders in his backpack while he was changing for gym class. That's pretty funny. I still remember the look on his face when he opened it to get his lunch. Priceless. Aw, did I offend you, Chula?
No!
I give him a playful pat on the back. He pulls back almost instantly, as if he's afraid I'll do something. Want me to call Leo so he can kiss you all better? The exasperated look on his face is pure gold. If it wasn't so dark, I'd be filming right now.
Why am I helping you? Don't. Jasmine.
He starts fiddling with his bracelet again. I think there's only hillbilly serial killers around these parts anyway. Nothing to worry about. Those are the scariest ones, in my opinion. After getting another look from him, I lay off, completely satisfied. Chase gets out of the car to pump gas. I look out the window again, to the convenience store. There are a few truckers here, but not much else. This place could use a clean. Shame that most likely won't ever happen, and probably hasn't since, what, the 50s? The most recent addition to the building is a poster for the Trinity Weasel movie starring Julia Blasco, which came out about 2 years ago.
I keep bringing back Trinity Weasel.
That's the one that TJ likes, right? Well, it wasn't. Remember, TJ's like, but she's a superhero, and he was like defending her at the very beginning.
Yeah, I think Carl was complaining about the movie not being accurate to the comics or something.
And TJ has like an action figure of her or something. I think TJ was the only one that really liked that movie. Come to think of it, my stomach rumbles when I notice the sandwiches set out on the counter. I eye the clock. It's about 8, and I haven't had dinner. While I could have grabbed something at the diner, I didn't want to risk Jenna seeing me and calling my parents. The sandwiches they sell at a gas station may not be as fresh or as tasty, but they'll have to do. I make a grab for my wallet again, catching my phone mid-buzz. Grumbling to myself, I take it out of my purse. 15 missed calls since the last one I saw. 14 from Dad, 1 from Jeremy. I don't know whether to laugh or cry, to be honest. I can only shake my head in disbelief. Not even half an hour into my little escape attempt, and they're already trying to drag me back to the madhouse. As long as they didn't follow me here, I have nothing to worry about. But I can't shake the thought, the possibility of them just showing up or calling the police, or 1,000 other things they never actually do. I don't feel like leaving the car anymore. I don't feel all that hungry anymore either. Something light will do. I tap the window to get Chase's attention, then roll it down. Mind grabbing something from the store for me, Chase?
Of course not. What do you need?
I look up from my manga when he comes back, carrying a small plastic bag with the gas station's logo on it.
One for you?
He says it in a sing-song voice, dangling a strawberry-flavored popsicle in front of me, which I greedily snatch from his paw.
Something light is a popsicle?
That's not even food at all. You haven't had dinner yet.
And one for me.
These popsicles come from Carl's mom's company. I've seen it eaten them more times than I can count. Back when we were kids, Carl used to boast that they were paying for his pocket money whenever he caught us eating one. That's making me richer. Considering Carl's mom would always give us entire bunches of them for free whenever we visited, though, we never had to buy all that many ourselves. You remember to like strawberries. That's sweet of you, Chase. Take a whiff of the familiar sugary, way too chemical scent.
Well, it was the only flavor left in stock. I mean, yeah, I did. Better check the expiration date. It might be older than we are.
The rest of this place certainly is. Take a little bite. I think it's safe. I'm not dead yet, at least. He laughs, unwrapping his own before producing 2 cans of soda from the plastic bag and handing one to me.
It's just all sugar. That's a relief. Remember being this age? You just make like, horrible food choices all day with no consequences?
What, like 18?
Yeah.
Well, I think she said she was 16. I fucking didn't do that shit. This still sounds gross to me. I wouldn't do this now. I'd get a string cheese. And
string cheese?
Yeah.
I never liked those.
I love string cheese. I'd get a string cheese and then a bag of almonds from the gas station. Eating popsicles and drinking soda in the parking lot of a rundown gas station. It sounds rather silly in my mind, but this is really happening. I take another bite. So, have you figured out what you're going to do once you're done with high school? He fiddles with his bracelet again.
I don't know. Leo's dad said he might have a job for me, but I don't think I'd make a good mechanic. I've got 2 left paws.
And you trip a lot.
Ever since the accident. I think I just destroy any car that came in the shop.
Why don't you apply for college?
You mean the one in Pueblo?
He gives me a quick sidelong glance.
That's really far away, isn't it? I don't know, Jazz. I can't just leave Leo behind.
You've got your phone. Long-distance relationships are a thing, you know? I crumple up the popsicle wrapper, putting it down in the ashtray. You don't see ashtrays in cars anymore either.
No.
They're actually all the rage these days. I've got this friend who has a boyfriend who lives on the other side of the planet. I turn and look at him. You know, I think he'd be a good fit for college, actually. Smart, motivated.
Really? I mean, I'm not all that good at anything, really. I don't know what I'd go for.
Maybe journalism or something? I mean, you were in charge of the school paper last year. You like filming and taking pictures, right?
His major wasn't even his own idea.
Fucking Jenna gave him the idea.
Jenna just gave him the idea to go to college and to specifically become a journalism major. That's how unmotivated he is.
Chase is fucking every episode we film, he gets like a little bit worse in my opinion, and he's just fucking spineless.
We're realizing through Samuel that he's defined entirely by his inability to make decisions.
Which is why we, as players, make decisions for him.
Yeah, back in the day, Jenna made his decisions and Leo did.
And now we do. And so does the voices in his head, which are also us. And having a degree is always good. Unless you paid a lot of money for it and it's not doing anything, it's not giving you any money back.
My degree is working wonders for me. My Let's Play degree.
Yeah,
my degree in Let's Playing. I studied video essayology for 3 years and...
God, you know how packed that class would be if it existed?
Esports.
Oh, gosh.
What are you going to major in?
They have a whole Fortnite class.
I guess arguably it'd be an improv class. Would be kind of like what Let's Playing is.
Or public speaking.
Yeah.
He finishes his popsicle, tossing the stick in the plastic bag.
I took my public speaking class online.
That's really funny. I took mine in person, and fuck, it sucks, and I hate it.
I hated it.
I have cousins that take public speaking classes, or like they're in clubs, like debate club, and I'm like, no, I hate this.
No.
I'm going for psychology.
Oh, like the inner workings of the mind and stuff.
No. He pantomimes while talking, yelping when he hits his elbow on the steering wheel. I giggle. I suppose, minus the bruised elbow. I want to find out what makes people do things the way they do.
So what made you do the thing you're doing right now?
You fucking know. His expression takes a turn for the serious.
Why'd you decide to run away?
For a moment, I'm speechless, all the heat drawing from my body as we look right at each other. I thought he was okay with me leaving when I told him, but now, his tone is almost accusatory. It reminds me of Leo. I shudder, remembering the stink eye he'd given me when I told him I was leaving. You cut me off there. Okay, there we go. A lot of things. I brushed the fur out of my eye. And I'm sorry, Chase. Most of them are none of your business.
I'm the one driving you to your new place. I think I deserve to know what's going on.
Yeah. He frowns.
What did they do to you? Did they hurt you or something?
None of your business. I grit my teeth. Can we just keep driving, Chase, please?
Jasmine, please, I want to know. If you need someone to talk to, someone who can help, me, Leo, my parents, will do whatever it takes. You don't have to do this. You can keep living in...
Is that what this is all about? I gesture to the soda cans, the empty popsicle wrappers, and the gas station. Are you just stalling so you can convince me to stay?
Jasmine.
He puts a paw on my shoulder.
I know how you feel, but running away isn't...
You don't know how I feel. I smack his paw away. You don't know the slightest thing about my situation, Chase. You don't know what it's like to live in poverty, what it can do to people. And you don't know how it feels when no matter how hard you try to crawl out of that hole, your family will keep piling on even more dirt. I take a deep breath, realizing I'm clenching my fists. I want to live for myself, Chase. I want to go to college. I want to have a future. I can't do that in Echo. It's not the place for me. It never was.
It's not the place for any of us.
He shrugs.
But it's home, you know?
It's home for you. It's hell for me. I put my seatbelt back on. Adam's dead. Jeremy's huffing whatever the fuck he can get his paws on. And my parents... I cut myself off. I feel nauseous just talking about them. My parents just keep blaming other people for their own ineptitude. Carl, his great-great-grand whatever, you, Leo, everyone's fair game. I'm sick of it. Chase gently puts his paw on mine. This time I don't push him away. I feel drained, exhausted. I'd cry on his shoulder, but I don't even have the energy to do that.
What'd they say about Carl? I mean, Leo and I aren't exactly Echo's darlings, but Carl, he's harmless.
Apparently his family is the reason we're so poor. Never mind the fact that my dad can't hold a job. Hell, he can't hold anything save for a beer bottle.
Shit. I didn't even know your family had a history together. Families had a history together.
We go way back. It's complicated.
Very far back.
Yeah, they do.
Something to unpack in Carl's route, Jesus.
The story I'd always been told was that one of Carl's ancestors had his business partner, one of my ancestors, lynched for sodomy to cover up his own crimes. My parents always conveniently left out the part where they were gay lovers, of course, but a trip to the library cleared that one up for me. Not that they cared. My breath slows. I've stopped clenching my teeth. I'm not trembling anymore, at least, which makes drinking my soda a lot easier. Finally, Chase smiles at me.
Sorry about all that. I just wanted to look out for you, you know? Everyone's been really worried.
I know, and I'm sorry too. I shouldn't have lashed out like that. Did you tell your parents that you're helping me?
I told them that I'd be taking Carl and TJ out to see the new Lions Brigade.
He puts the keys back in the ignition.
My mom's been asking about you, though.
That warms my heart a little. Chase's mother is one of the nicest people I know. What'd she say?
Just wanted to know how you're doing. If you're eating okay, that kind of stuff. She wants you to come over to dinner sometime.
He laughs.
Maybe she's still hoping I'll go straight someday, huh?
He backs us out of the parking lot. When I look behind me, I see a group of employees crowding around a rather shady-looking wolf. I guess we're leaving just in time. Do your parents not like that you're with Leo?
My dad adores him. I think my mom still wants grandkids eventually, but she's been pretty supportive. She just wanted me to be safe.
I chuckle. Grandkids? I can't really picture you as a dad.
Gee, thanks.
He rolls his eyes dramatically.
You're as sharp as a box cutter sometimes, you know that?
I give his snout a playful poke with my finger. Just saying what's on my mind, Otter boy. Don't take it too personally. See, once again, she just said shit she shouldn't say.
Yep.
Like that.
Wow, everyone just gets so offended by me being mean to everyone.
Like,
weird thing that they do.
Why don't they just like my pranks and just like fun things I say?
Prank masters.
There's a moment of silence before he speaks again.
Hey, not to change the subject, but like, won't your family be able to find you over there?
They won't. I've thought of something.
That's why she changes her name.
There we go.
What is it?
I'm going to get my name changed when I can, once I'm 18. It won't make it impossible to find me, but hopefully it'll keep them off my tail until I can move to Pueblo. As long as I can remember, even before I started thinking about running away, I've wanted to change my name. Jasmine's a name, yeah, but I never felt like a name that was really my own. It's one my parents picked for me. I've always felt like it was one of those names you usually associate with trash living in a small rural village, a citizen of Echo. It's not a name you'd really expect or want to see on the front page of a magazine or a research paper. Mad diss people out there whose name is Jasmine.
We're going hard for people that have Jasmine here.
I don't...
In her defense, she lives on Jasmine Street.
I mean, okay, that part... I would,
so like that's why she associates it as being just a trash name, but damn.
I mean, she should just say that.
Yeah, well, it is just her thoughts. And she's a flawed character.
Yeah, no, I know. It's just like me personally, Jasmine's not a name I would just be like, oh, that's like a poor person name. Not to say like any name should ever be treated that way, but like that's kind of a bougie name. I was
gonna say people are probably like, wow, this is different. Usually people think of Aladdin, but
yeah, like a princess or a flower, you know.
Really? Huh.
Yeah, I want something a little more. I bite my lip. A little more me, I guess.
What kind of name are you thinking of?
In the past, I've considered the names of actresses and singers, from CEOs to scientists. Now, though, I just blurt out the first thing that comes to mind. How about Jenna? Seems like a good enough name.
Jenna?
He chuckles.
Thought you'd go for something more ostentatious.
Well, I don't want to draw too much attention to myself. And to be fair, anything's better than Jasmine.
Khaleesi. Definitely. It's just, well, it's going to take some time getting used to.
He stares off into the distance, at the empty stretch of barren land next to the road.
Jenna.
Doesn't sound half bad, right?
Hey, it's your name.
What's that supposed to mean?
Sounds like your problem. Bye. Shoot me a message once you're unpacked, okay?
She slips the duffel bag out of the trunk.
He's not wearing it in the Sprite.
Oh, you're right. With a grunt, I wobble on my feet once I grab it, rescued by Chase giving me a hug. I struggle to reciprocate it until I drop the bags. It's a little uncomfortable with both our shirts stuck to our fur and it being warm out, but it's not unwelcome. I nod. Drive safe.
Really?
He chuckles, pulling back.
Seriously. Do you see a dent in this car?
Sure, that's what you said about your bike too, right before you fell flat on your...
That was 5 years ago.
Chase always falls.
5 years.
We laugh together.
It's gonna be different without you around.
I'll still be around, you dip, just in a different town. I chuckle. Maybe we can go do something together sometime. We can go bowling.
Sounds like fun. I'd like that. But only if you promise to not cheat again.
Hey, I beat you fair and square last time.
Of course you did, Jen.
Fine. I fold my arms. I'll go easy on you. He steps back towards the car. After a short pause, he turns around to wave. I walk up to him once again. Wait. I take Pueblo University's brochure out of my purse. For you. He looks at it for a second, dumbfounded. Summoning some of my courage and a little stupidity, I lean in and give him a peck on the cheek for good measure. If Leo were here, he'd toss me through a wall.
Just crater you. Like Yamcha.
The kisses on the cheek are like pretty benign.
But Leo.
Yeah. Thanks, Chase, for everything. You've been a big help. He just stands there, jaw agape, glancing down at the brochure before looking up at me again.
I guess I'll see you around?
Bye, Otter boy. I grab the bags again, unable to keep myself from giggling softly as he stumbles to the car door, a confused look of bewilderment still etched on his face. He clutches the brochure tightly, and I catch a glimpse of him reading through it before he drives away. When he honks the horn, I do my best to wave in spite of the bags, smiling to myself, all alone in Peyton in the middle of the night. Chase might be the only game Leo ever beat me at, but the odds can still change.
Oh, Jenna, no.
Once again, bad way to look at it.
No.
With the backness in my paws, I waddle to the old beat-up door and wait for the door to my future to open.
That's worrying, given how the ending was phrased.
I know.
Jenna. Everyone's a real load of work in this game. Although Carl just is fine.
Yeah, I know. He's just like, he's like, his biggest problem is like,
he has social anxiety.
He's a stoner. Like,
yeah.
Wow, that's such a problem.
He has inadequacy problems and anxiety, and is afraid of. He's just incredibly inept at just getting out there and doing something, which relatable.
Well, sometimes like the fear of living just kind of shocks you into motionlessness, and I understand that completely.
Well, 2 down, 2 to go.
Awesome, Possum.
It's very different having you read the whole time. It's a very different vibe. And I just come in to voice one character every now and then.
It's probably a nice little break for you, huh?
It's a real change of pace.